Good morning, children. Today, in supplementary reading, let us start a new lesson, that is King Sindbad and his falcon. Before starting lesson, I will ask some questions. Children, do you have pets? Yes, I know some children have pets like dog, cat, and I know how much you love and take care of your pets. And if your pets disobey your order, how will you treat them? Maybe you will give punish or beat them. So same like that, here in this lesson, King Sinbad also punished his pet. Let us read this lesson. Once there was a king named Sindbad. The king was pleasure loving and, in particular, very fond of raising and hunting. The king had brought up a falcon as his pet. Wherever the king went, the bird went with him. Even at night, the falcon stayed with him on his fist. The king had a golden cup tied around her neck to provide her drink during hunting. One day, when the king was sitting in his palace in a leisurely mood, the falcon said to the king, "O great king, now the time is suitable for hunting." The king liked her suggestion. He ordered his subordinates to make the necessary arrangements for the hunt. The king set out hunting with the falcon on his fist. The king and his men continued to travel till very reached a valley. His men formed a circular shroud of a net intended for the victim. Soon a gazelle was trapped within the net. The excited king cried, "Beware! Whoever allows the gazelle to escape from here will be punished to death." The net was lifted by the king's hunting troop from all the sides. Gradually they began narrowing the net circle to trap the gazelle. She too moved towards the king and stood on her hind legs. She then lifted her forelegs up to her breast, suddenly jumped above the head of the king, and escaped out of the maze, thus thwarting the whole effort. The king turned towards his men. He noticed them murmuring and pointing towards him. The king asked his wazir, "O wazir, do my men want to say something?" The wazir replied, "Your Majesty, they are saying that you have warned that you will kill the person who lets the gazelle escape." The king replied, "I vow to bring her back and will not return till I accomplish it." Saying this, the king galloped on his horse on the route that the gazelle had fled. The falcon, the king's hunting mate, flew high up and traced the fleeing gazelle. She at once swooped down and blinded the gazelle with her talons. The king immediately struck his mace at the blinded gazelle and ended the matter forever. He then cut the gazelle's throat, removed its skin from the body, and hung the spoils on the saddle. It was midday, and the place where they were wandering was devoid of any water source. The king and his horse were thirsty. The king went further in search of water. Finally, they reached a place where water was seen dripping through the leaves of a tree. The king was wearing a skin gauntlet to protect him from any poison. As his falcon was very thirsty, the king took out the cup from her neck and filled it with the dripping liquid. He then placed the cup in front of the falcon. But surprisingly enough, the falcon overturned the cup instead of drinking it. The king picked up the cup, filled it again, and placed it in front of the falcon. But the falcon upset it again with her talons. The king was annoyed at the falcon's strange behavior. Next time, he filled the cup with the dripping liquid and placed it in front of his horse. However, annoyingly enough, the falcon hastily upset it again. The king became furious. He shouted at the falcon in anger, "You unlucky and foolish thing! You are not willing to slake your thirst, nor are you allowing the horse to drink it." In his fury, the king took out his sword and chopped off the wings of the falcon. The falcon cried in pain. She then indicated the king to look up by raising her head. The king's eyes followed the falcon. He saw a poisonous viper laying up above the tree. The liquid, which he mistook as water, was drops of the snake's poison. The king was very remorseful for cutting off the wings of his loyal and beloved falcon. He rode on his horse and returned to his camp along with the dead gazelle. The falcon was still sitting on his fist. As soon as the king reached the camp and sat comfortably, the falcon, which was bearing the pain till then, suddenly gasped and succumbed to death. The repentant king cried aloud to lose his faithful companion who had saved his life.